Hi everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Spartan Sports Report. And we're happy to have a couple of guys from Connersville Middle School with us this evening. Jeremy Horns, he's the guy to the far left here. He's a special teams coach at the middle school for the football team, and the head coach of the football team is right next to me, MACAULLY Vessels. Fellows, welcome to TV3.
Thanks for having us.
This isn't football's rather yet, but it'll be here pretty soon.
Yeah, hopefully sooner rather than later.
You guys work in the spring before school dismisses, or do you just wait until fall or August or something like that?
Yeah, no, we have workouts every day after high school lets out. We've been shipping some of the middle schoolers up too. Pretty good turnout so far.
Great. So what kind of schools do you play? Do you play the same guys that the varsity team plays, or do you play other schools?
We play a few teams that are the same as the varsity, but for the most part, we try and stay like within our conference a little bit, but we play some that are out, and I think you said we're losing a team next year, so I don't know who we're going to pick up for that yet.
Right. Well, the varsity's picking up Jennings County, replacing Indianapolis Broad Ripples, so I didn't know if you fellows. So speaking of the conference, that's Eastern Indiana Athletic Conference teams you play?
Yeah.
Okay. So East Central, you play East Central?
Yep.
I understand they have a pretty good program on the varsity level. What about the middle school level?
Yeah, middle school is pretty tough. They're pretty tough all the way down.
Because those guys, they advance to East Central, and they're nothing more than just a championship team when it comes to football in Indiana. So how long have you guys been at it? MACAULLY, how long have you been the head coach?
This will be my first year as a head coach, actually.
So you're a rookie, huh?
Yeah, it'll be my third year in the program. So, and I played football underneath Coach Kelly.
Oh, great!
Yeah,
great.
So,
Jeremy, how about you?
This will be my third year coming in with the middle school. It'll be my first year as special teams coordinator for the program, though.
Okay. What do you guys look for in a football team in a middle schooler? These kids are what, 13 and 14, 12 and 13? 12 and 13. What do you want to see in a football player? MACAULLY, what are some of the traits that you want to see?
Biggest thing for me, especially at that level, is getting a kid who's going to come in and work hard, be dedicated.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather play 11 guys that are going to listen and do the right things and play the right way, rather than 11 kids who might be athletically gifted but not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. MACAULLY, what do you want to see in a football player?
Or
Jeremy, I'm sorry.
No, you're
Jeremy.
fine. Well, when we're looking at football players, especially from special teams aspect, you're looking for a kid that's athletic, like Coach Vessels said. The biggest thing is you want a kid to be coachable. They're still young. They're still going through their body. They're going through a lot of changes in that middle school age.
Sure.
So some of them will catch up to their body. Some of them, their athletic ability will kind of fade a little bit as their body grows. So you want a kid who's coachable, so you can kind of help them through that growth period. And by the time they get up to the high school level, they'll get underneath Coach Kelly, and they'll be able to step right in and know the program and know what's going on.
I know you guys work closely with Coach Kelly because he wants you to coach these kids the way he will coach them when they get to high school.
Absolutely, yeah.
Coach, what year were you under Coach Kelly?
It was my senior year, so it was his first year here. I graduated in 2013.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. He's a pretty tough coach.
Oh yeah. He's necessary. Necessary.
I've heard that. He has a little bit of military in him, I believe, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you play football at CHS, Jeremy?
I played my middle school underneath Coach Reeve, and then I was underneath Coach Snodgrass for my freshman year. And then after that, I went on and I played some baseball and some other things.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad to come back and have my alma mater give me the opportunity to coach a little bit of football here too.
Right. Did you guys go to college?
Yeah, I actually played a year of college football at Defiance College. It's a small school in northern Ohio. But then I transferred to IU East, and I graduated from there.
Okay. Are you guys on the staff at at the middle school teaching or anything?
Yeah, we're both teachers.
Are you? Okay.
We're both at the high school.
Okay. What's your subjects?
I teach family and consumer science.
And I teach social studies. I took over for Mr. Beard when Mr. Beard left. So.
Okay, well, you have some big shoes to fill.
Yes, sir.
Right. Yeah, Mark's was a fine teacher, I understand, and
Absolutely.
a lot of students appreciated the work that he did with them,
Absolutely.
for them. Right. It's a good deal. Special teams, again, tell us what special teams are for the folks that might not know, Jeremy.
Well, special teams, you're working with punt, you're working with punt return, kickoff, and kickoff return. This year, Coach Kelly's tasked me to kind of be over special teams for the entire program, from youth all the way through the high school. So he's going to run me to death a little bit this year. I'm going to have to try to run 3 separate programs of special teams. Honestly, I think it's the first year he's really ever had someone that's been specifically dedicated to special teams. So we're trying to figure out which direction the program needs to go, and try to find some people that would be specifically special teams kind of key players to kind of lift us up to maybe that East Central kind of status as we go forward in the conference.
Yeah. You spoke of the youth program. Tell us about the youth program, the football program. I know that Coach Kelly's really worked hard to get youngsters interested in football here in Connersville.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Kelly and his whole staff, they've worked real hard with the youth program. I remember when I was coming up, I graduated high school in 2006, and there really wasn't, we had Pee Wee program, but it was no program that was really connected to the Spartans or to the high schools. So it's kind of like Little League baseball in a way, and it was just kind of all over the place, and dads coaching and all that, which was great.
Sure.
But now Coach Kelly, they're running the same plays that we are from a very young age. So that way, when they get up into middle school, it's not that big of a jump to, okay, well, now we're going to run a real strict and real rigid program. So they've been running the program that Coach Kelly has at the high school for years and years by the time they've got up to the high school level, and it really helps, with muscle memory especially. That it's not a learning process every time and every year that they come up and have a new coach.
I'm glad to see the program start with such youngsters. I think that's great. That's great.
Absolutely. Especially with football, you teach a kid how to play it at a young age, and that'll go with them and make for a stronger program and make for a better overall for the school and for the community as well.
Sure. How long does a middle school football game last, MACAULLY?
I'm not for sure exactly what the quarter time is, but it usually lasts, about an hour and a half or so.
Yeah. About
Okay, and
beginning to end.
You got to play all your home games at Spartan Field, right?
Yep. That's we're real fortunate that the high school lets us use that field, and we don't have to find a different field to play at because it has everything we need right there, and it's nice.
Tell us about the training room out at CHS. I understand they have some really nice equipment in there to help kids build up strength and things.
Yeah, Coach Kelly, he's done a great job of bringing in new equipment, getting rid of some of the older equipment that was there, I'm sure, way before even Coach Horn was out there. A long time ago. But yeah, Coach Kelly's really beefed up the weight room and the equipment in there, and really getting us in the right direction to where we need to be in the off season. That's going to help us in season.
Absolutely, it's a great sport for the kids, and I think we have some of the finest facilities at CHS, from what I hear from visiting schools and things.
Yeah.
So we can be proud of what schools have come up with as far as kids in sports.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about academics at middle school? Is it pretty strict? You have to meet certain guidelines, Jeremy, to stay eligible?
Yeah, they have to keep a certain GPA and make sure their classes, their grades are good for them to be eligible for any kind of sports, not just football, but any sports at middle school. And I know Athletic Director Liggett and everybody at the middle school, they really impress upon student athlete, and the fact that they're students first, and we even though we're coaches and we want to win and we want to do good, we have to make sure that our students excel in the classroom before they can excel on the athletic field.
Right. I know you guys are interested in basketball at middle school and at CHS.
Absolutely.
Your middle school teams, your boys did pretty well.
They did. They had a real good season this year.
Yes, they did. Right now the girls are underway, the red and white teams, and I think they're doing okay.
Yeah, for the last time I heard, they were doing pretty good this season.
I think so, right. So speaking of basketball, the Spartans are playing in New Palestine tonight. It's a game that was moved from Saturday because Saturday the New Pal ladies were in a tournament in the regional because they won the sectional here at Connersville. They sort of struck out, though. They lost to Pike in the Decatur Central regional for girls basketball, and Pike went on to win the title game. So, but they had to move the game because New Pal was hoping they'd be in the championship game at night, and that was when the Spartans were scheduled to play the boys. So they reached agreement to move the game to tonight. So we want to wish the Spartans all the luck in the world that they can pull off a victory here tonight. Those young guys are doing pretty well, aren't they?
They are. They've had a lot. They've had several good seasons. I know
Yes.
Coach Brown's been really pleased with the performance of the kids.
Yeah, they really worked together real well, and they played East Central in a ball game Thursday night. Wasn't even close. It was quite a ball game. The Spartans started off not too well. East Central got the opening tip. Within 10 seconds, they had 3 points on the board. A kid threw in a three-pointer, and they went on to put a few more points on the scoreboard. Coach Brown called a timeout, changed things around, and that was the end of that. I mean, the Spartans really responded to what he told them, and from then on, it was Connersville way out in front. So it was supposed to be a close ball game, but the Spartans won by 15, 14 points.
Yeah.
And by the way, viewers, we'll be having the game on TV3 this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights at 8 o'clock. You can watch the Spartans as they win that conference game at East Central last week. Speaking of the Spartans this week, they'll be taking on Franklin County on Friday night. That'll be a conference game, of course, and Spartans and East Central right now are tied for first place because after the loss to the Spartans by East Central, they went to Batesville and got a victory in the conference, so they are, as the Spartans are, 4 wins and 1 loss. Each of those teams has 2 games to go. The Spartans play Franklin County and Lawrenceburg this Friday and Saturday nights, respectively, and it will be Franklin County playing East Central on Saturday night after they play the Spartans here Friday night, and then next week it will be a game that Lawrenceburg, I believe, will be the final game for the East Central Trojans. So it'll be a while before, actually, the conference standings are finalized, actually, toward the end of the season. So the Spartans, though, can win a couple more while they'll be assured of at least a tie for the conference, and that'll be something. In other sports this week, we'll look at some of the schedule as Connersville is today, as we mentioned, they're at New Palestine. There's a gymnastics meet at the CHS gym with teams from Cambridge City and Shelbyville. On Friday, the boys' basketball, as we talked about, the Spartans meet Franklin County at Spartan Bowl. The game's at 6 and 7:30. Saturday, the boys' swimming sectional will be getting underway at New Palestine. And the middle school this week, today, the girls' basketball, the white team is playing Waldron at Spartan Arena. On Tuesday, the wrestling team is in a meet at Greensburg. Wednesday, the girls' red and white 7th graders home to Doe Creek, and the girls' red and white 8th grader teams are at Doe Creek on Wednesday. On Thursday, a wrestling team home to Cambridge City, and on Saturday, the girls' white basketball team, the 7th graders host an invitational, and the 8th grade team is in an invitational at Rushville. Area boys records, here's how some of the teams are doing. Centerville is 8 and 11. They lost at Blue River. They're home Tuesday to Union City and home Friday to Tri. Union County is 14 and 6. They lost at Northeastern. They'll be at East Central on Tuesday and at Union City on Friday. Cambridge City is 9 and 11. They won over Winchester. They play Seton Catholic Friday at the gym at Earlham College. And Rushville is 5 and 14. They lost at Beech Grove. They're home Tuesday to Oldenburg Academy. They'll be at Greensburg Friday. Richmond is 8 and 13. They lost at Logansport. They'll be at Lafayette Jeff on Friday. And Franklin County, they come to Spartan Bowl on Friday night. They're 7 and 12. They won over Switzerland County in their last game. So season winding down. It's hard to believe that we're in the final couple of weeks of the boys' basketball season.
Yeah, it's what the year's flown by so far.
So far, right. And by the way, the sectional pairings will be coming up this Sunday out of Indianapolis at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a 2-hour program. They'll be making the pairings for all the sectionals that will be played in all the 4 classes in Indiana starting on February the 27th. They start with Class 1A, Connersville being in 4A, so it'll be toward the end of the program, probably around 6:30 or so. They'll be getting to the 4A guys, and our section will be opening on Tuesday, the 27th of February. There'll be 2 games that night, 2 on Friday night, March the 2nd, and the championship game on March the 3rd. And as last year, the sectional winner will be going to Southport for the regional. So it's right around the corner. The same teams that were in the girls sectional will be in the boys sectional, and they are, of course, the Spartans, Richmond. It will be Mount Vernon, Pendleton Heights, Greenfield Central, New Palestine. I believe there's 6 teams that will be, and so it should be interesting sectional. It'd be nice to be here at Spartan Bowl, but we have to travel to Richmond and go to Tiernan Center. Have you guys ever been to Tiernan Center?
Yeah, I have. Actually, my first year teaching, I worked in Richmond.
Oh, did you?
School, so I've been in the Tiernan Center quite a bit. Like you said, it'd be nice to be here at home, though.
Yes, it would, but they have a 9,000-seat gymnasium, yeah. So they sort of, since we can only put 6,000 in
yeah.
Spartan Bowl, why we're kind of the second choice, I guess, on that. But
it's pretty nice. I've only been there for wrestling matches, but
okay.
I'm sure it's a great place to watch a basketball game.
Yeah, how'd you do in wrestling?
When I was in school?
Yeah.
My senior year, I actually made it to semi-state. So
okay, well, your name sounded kind of familiar. Yeah. I knew it from something, but I wasn't sure. We were talking about the middle school has a wrestling team. Do you fellows get any of the wrestlers on the football teams?
Yep, I encourage all my athletes to, do something.
Yes. Whether
it be play a sport or come and lift. So I do a little bit of recruiting for the wrestling team. Yeah.
Well, that's fine. Well, how are the wrestlers doing for a middle school? I know they just started after the first of the year,
mm-hmm.
but
I'm actually not for sure.
I don't know. I haven't talked to Coach DeGroat lately to see what was going on. I know.
Right.
I know our running back Kyle Seifert. He was looking to do pretty well this year, but I don't know exactly how everything's coming along with the team though.
Yes. Well, I'm sure the fellows are doing well, and again, like you guys, you're kind of feeding the high school.
Absolutely.
When they get to high school, yes, right, right. You have some assistant coaches, MACAULLY, that help you?
Well, beside Coach Horn,
mm-hmm.
We have Coach House, who also works at the middle school, trying to get a few more people to come back from last year, and maybe trying to add a couple newer people that weren't with us last year, weren't able to be with us last year, but we're working to get them back on staff and trying to build the best staff I can be to help, make us be successful right. and get them ready for high school.
You fellows talk to the players' parents, and do they understand what you fellows are trying to do, and do they cooperate in every way?
Yeah. Parents, especially last year, they were real helpful. We had some team moms that did a lot for us.
Uh-huh. Like what?
Wouldn't be able to do it without them. Just getting food orders for game day.
Okay.
The Spartan gear, orchestrating that.
Mm-hmm.
They're a ton of help.
Mm-hmm. And then you have to appreciate the fact that they bring the kids to practice
mm-hmm.
and pick them up and everything, because these guys aren't eligible to drive yet, so they need parents for transportation and things.
Absolutely. And football is a little strange for most sports that I've ever coached or been around, because we had a group of 10 parents that they hung around all practice.
Mm-hmm.
They just brought lawn chairs when the weather was good, and they'd sit there and they'd watch us practice. So that was unique. You don't normally see that a whole lot when kids get to the middle school and the high school level of sports.
Right. Is there a time that you guys don't practice in pads, and you might talk about, when you begin practicing, you don't go to pads and everything right away, do you, or do you?
No.
How does that work? I know in high school it gradually builds up to that, I believe, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think there's a certain day that we can't be in pads until.
Yeah, Mr. Liggett, the AD, he runs the middle school, even though we're not bound by any rules.
Right, you're
in
not
middle
associated
school.
with the Indiana High School Athletic Association,
No,
are
but
you?
he holds us to the same standard as they do the high
Good.
school. So we have camp. It's a little bit less for us because, like I said, the kids can't drive, so we don't have as much summer stuff going on. So once we have camp, and we have a couple practices the week before school. Last year's when we started, and there was no pads at all. So we didn't get pads on last year until, unfortunately, it was 2 weeks before our first game, because our first game was quite a bit earlier this year. But
Yes.
Yeah. Also, though, we got some free clinics coming up in March. It's the second and third week of March, I believe.
I believe so.
The first week is going to be a youth clinic, and it's only going to be 2 days. But then the next week we're going to have a middle school clinic, and that's going to be 3 days, and it's going to be free. Try and get some kids out, get them interested in that. And then also over the summer, actually, Tuesday nights, the varsity program's doing stuff, and we're inviting all the middle school players to come up and practice with the varsity as well, and kind of get used to the system and how things run. So that's going to be on Tuesday nights.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm glad to see those kind of programs. But the cooperation between you and the high school is sounds very good.
Yep.
Sounds very good.
My classroom's right next to Coach Kelly's, so I'm in his ear probably more than anybody.
He eats, drinks, and sleeps football, I think.
Yes, he does.
I was going to say it's a year-round thing for him, isn't it?
Yep.
I mean, and I'm sure that he wants you fellows to
Yep.
be involved in that too. And everything.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. That's so football's an interesting thing, but we might talk a little bit about. I know some parents are concerned about the injuries that occur, but you guys are very, very careful with their youngsters to see that they're safe all the time.
Yes, we are. We actually started at the high school, started teaching a new tackling technique. It's called rugby-style tackling. It pretty much eliminates the head, or as much as you can, the head contact. And we're also all USA football certified, so every coach that's in the program is able to react to any kind of situation that has to do with that.
And there are medical people always on staff, I know,
Right.
to be there to assist anybody that may become injured or shaken up a little bit and things like that.
Well, that's the best thing about being able to use having the obligations and to be able to use the high school field is because we have Audrey, the trainer, up there at every single game, because she makes us priority when we're game day. Unless they've got a gymnastic meet or something going on, she makes us priority with us being a game over practices. So she's always right there, just just a little bit away, so we can get top-notch help to the kids. On either team if something were to happen.
Yes. Yes, I know on the varsity level, when a player on the other team goes down, she's quickly on the field to assist them in any way that she can. So that's good to know that she's even there during your practice sessions too.
Well, we don't get a practice up there, so we don't have anybody at practice sessions. We do have some equipment that we bring with us from the middle school, but yeah, we don't get to use the high school just because we don't want to haul kids up on a bus if we don't have to.
You guys ever use the field at the Grandview School or anything for anything? I didn't know if there was a conflict or something, maybe with the varsity teams that you had to shift practice to another location or something.
Yeah, we last year we started practicing at Grandview for decent amount of the beginning of the season, and then we ended up moving it to Claypool, and we were playing at the Claypool field.
That's a nice field. It really is, yes.
Not positive what we're going to be doing this coming year, but it'll probably be one of those two locations.
Might look at your practice schedule again. School begins early in August, right? And then do you fellows practice before school begins?
Yeah, actual practice starts. Official practice was the week or 2 weeks before school starts?
2 weeks before school starts.
Yeah. So we don't get a whole lot of time for official practice before our first game, because our first game was, the second day of school this year?
Okay.
So we get after it early. But that's why we've kind of been, pushing for kids to come to workouts now and things like that over the summer so we can get better prepared. So once we hit 2 weeks before the first game, we can kind of get in a groove and know what we're doing at that point.
We might talk about what's going on at the park system here in Connersville. We have a little bit of, they're getting ready to take applications for their spring sports programs. Now through the March 16th, you can sign up for spring soccer. That's for youngsters 3 to 14 years old. And now through April the 6th, T-ball for children 3 to 6 years old is a sign-up time. Also April 6th, slow pitch softball for girls. There are 3 age groups in that. That makes it pretty nice, 10 and under, 14 and under, and girls that are 18 and under. And now through May 18th, the Church League softball sign-up is underway. And now through August the 4th, machine pitch softball for 10-year-olds and under, and those who are 11, 12, 13, and 14. You can get complete information by calling the park office at 825-4244 or stopping at the park office in the Miller building. They don't have any football for you guys, though.
That'd be nice.
Yes, it would, right? If you had a football program under the guidance of the park system, that would work out real well. You guys ought to work on that.
So that's something we're going to look into. Maybe at the least get some flag football or something.
There you go.
Yeah, that would be a good idea because get some of these youngsters really ready and involved in it. But you have the youth program that you talked about, Jeremy. So that, and when does that? When do those youngsters? Where do they play and when and so on? Can you bring us up to date on that?
Well, they play at Grandview. I believe it's on Saturdays.
Saturday mornings, yeah.
So they take all of them down there. It makes for a long day for the families, I know. But they take every single age group, and they bring a team in, or they'll go somewhere else and they'll play at Grandview or wherever they're at if they're away, and they'll play all the age groups on Saturdays.
Okay, so that's a good program. I know Coach Kelly started that, and
yes,
he's really working hard on that and everything. So hopefully it'll be an interesting football season coming up here, and I know you guys will work closely with him. And he has a big coaching staff, a lot of good guys that help him in coaching the Spartans varsity and JV team too. We want to mention those kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean, Coach Kelly's he's told myself and Coach Vessel since we've been around. I mean, we're almost all the games on Friday nights, unless they're too terribly far away, because he has a family mentality. He's an everybody on board on Friday night kind of guy. So whether they be middle school coaches or whatever your title be, come up, and he wants everybody to come up and pitch in and help out on Friday nights.
Yes. We talked about East Central being one of the strong teams in the conference. Some of the other teams that you guys play, what about Richmond? They didn't win a ball game last year, but what kind of a program? Do we play any of Richmond Test or Richmond Dennis or anybody like that in football, or do they have a football program?
They had, I think they consolidated for at least the football team.
Did they?
All of them play on one football team.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're pretty tough. Kudos to those kids for sticking out the whole season and going winless.
Yes.
But because I know that's tough to do, but.
That's right. I mean, that's real tough. I mean, you really have to admire the kids that keep working at it, even though they're struggling and unable to get a victory.
Absolutely.
So you have to really appreciate the effort that goes into it. They'll be getting a new coach at Richmond. I understand their coach has resigned, so they're, I'm sure, searching for a football coach for Richmond High School.
Yeah.
You guys aren't going up there, are you?
No, I don't have any intentions of going up there now.
You decided to stay here at the middle school and at CHS, right?
Absolutely.
Well, it's great that you guys, you're from Connersville and everything, and you've decided to coach these young guys and help them develop their football skills. And I'm sure it's going to pay off here one of these years for us because Coach Kelly's working very, very hard. I want to thank you guys, Jeremie Horns, the middle school special team coach for football, and MACAULLY Vessels, who is the head coach at the middle school. Guys, if I don't see you before the season begins in August, best of luck.
Thank you.
very
I appreciate
much.
it.
Thanks, everybody, for watching this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3.